and we've proved the logic. All right? We talked about clustering. The point is, remember we talked about that blasted table, that framework table, which was the product, which was the thing that these fellas who were going to give you the money to do the project, they don't listen to 15 pages of prose for those who just come in. They don't listen to you whining on about old women and young babies dying of starvation. They don't listen to that. They don't understand it. It has to be put here, in this way. You see here, improve or increase biodiversity in both elephants and maize. These are your higher order objectives. These start to become the purposes of your project. And you see these lower ones here and the ones below that, they are kind of the means, the objectives that you need to achieve in order to achieve those higher order purposes. Let me show you. Here's the same problems tree here. I've just cut it down a little bit, okay? Just to make it simpler, but it's the same one. Economic incentives. Basically, farmers. How can we work with the elephants? Poachers. How can we stop you guys killing off the elephants? Maybe becoming game wardens or whatever. With me? Farmers, can you donate a little piece of land on this side and we'll build you a big rotted fence right here. Keep out the elephants. I'll wake you up now, right? We'll give up this piece of land but we will build you this fence. And the elephants will stay. How can we compromise? That's the whole idea. Good legislation. You sustain the populations of the elephants and the growth. But listen, you started off with this problem tree. You had no idea what you were doing. You reorganized those into some kind of logical kind of impact. This problem is impacting this, which is leading on to that. You positivized all of that to say, listen, if we have inputs, those are the likely outcomes, and you have basically done the logic to prove that this, the force field, this will have this impact. If you push this, you know it's going to move. That's a force field, all right? Here's our same strategy. Various activities here and inputs that I haven't actually listed here will give you results. And these results will provide a purpose, and the purpose will feed into the overall objective. That's the idea. You remember I showed you the table at the start? Where's my table? Here's my table. Activities, outputs, purpose, goals. You don't start with the table. Go back to here. This approach, this analysis is what provides you with these. They don't come to you unless you're superhuman, all right? So remember, the log frame approach, we've just done the analysis of problems. We've just done the analysis of objectives. We've just done the analysis of strategies. And now, we want to get into this last part here, which will take me about 10 minutes or so, this kind of planning phase. And ultimately, to create the log frame matrix, which is what everybody wants to submit to the granting agency. Oh dear. The matrix, basically, is an outcome of the log frame analysis. It cannot be produced de novo, at least not easily. And you fill in the columns of the matrix as follows. You have columns on the left here. All of this here is basically your objectives tree. You with me? Your activities, your results, your purpose, your goals. And these have been developed from the problems tree and the objectives tree and have been tested as a result of the force field analysis. I've told you here about what the vertical logic actually does, and that's exactly that there. The horizontal logic in the matrix tells you about how the objectives are going to be achieved. We're going to tell you about these indicators and the means of verification and the assumptions. That's the idea. This is another one here, which basically we're going to give you an example of for you guys to work on yourself.
What?
For Wednesday's tutorial. So
It begins. It begins.
Sir, but you see we have an exam that day, right?
These key performance indicators, these means of verification, these risks.
Second class.
I'm going to put in the assumptions first of all. I'll tell you, I've applied for a lot of research grants, and for every 10 grants I've applied for, I've got 1 or 2.
So 10%.
And yeah, 10% is good, man.
That's decent. For beginning, sir. Think about it.
And I'll tell you, I believe that the main reason for those grants being turned down is because of unreasonable assumptions. All right? Unreasonable assumptions are the main reason we feel there are many project proposals to be funded. It really is. Some examples of assumptions, and I just try to think of these here, you know?
When?
Some of you may be thinking of doing research after you finish here. Now, if you have a supervisor that comes to you and said, boy, Courtney, I want you to work on this really, really rare lizard or this really, really rare snail.
Oh, good
Let me
stuff,
tell you
sir.
something, Courtney.
Good stuff.
Wow.
You be rare because you run. Because you're not going to get enough samples to do that MPhil, to do that PhD. Because you're going to be working on this rare lizard. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Most graduate students in my department complain bitterly that they don't have transport to get to the transport sites.
I wish.
Somebody has this brilliant project where this key